Welcome to tonight's race, race number 11 of the NAVSCAR Pro Series, second to last race. We're racing here tonight at the Auto Club Speedway. Looking for a good race from our guys. I'm excited about what this one's going to bring. I'm joined in the booth by Jamie Christensen and of course myself, Michael Fair, looking to bring you some good coverage of tonight's race. Jamie, what's going on, bud?
Not much. I'm excited to be here. Anytime we can get to a Michigan clone like we have here with the Auto Club, I'm excited. It's a lot of different lanes out there to try out, and should make for a great race.
Yeah, I really do like the high-speed Michigan clone. Michigan tracks in general. You're right; it's really wide. It allows guys to move around the track, search for grooves, and find some speed. You know, with the NASCAR, the actual race going to Michigan this weekend, they got a new aero package there. It looks like it's going to be an interesting race, but drivers are talking about how they think they're going to have to really move around the track to find clean air.
Yeah, and I think we're going to see that this evening as well. I mean, I don't think everybody approaches this track the same way. We've seen time and time again in our previous races here at Auto Club, we've got guys that are bottom feeders down on the white line in the corners. We got guys that are kind of in the middle, and some of them are even flirting with the higher line. So I think it's a little bit of a mixed bag. It all depends on where the car is running the best, or where they think it is, and some want that fast exit out of the corners, and some of them want to just delay the entry a little bit and get down to the lower part of the track. I think it really depends on the driver, but we'll definitely see how it turns out.
Yeah, we got a bunch of cars on the track. Open qualifying here at Michigan. It's different than most tracks we go to. It's not quite as fast as, say, a super speedway. Well, it is actually as fast, but drafting is not as relevant. But I think we're going to see a couple cars try and get in line and take advantage of that draft to put up a fast time.
Yeah, I would agree. And I noticed some of them ducking down there at the start-finish line, definitely on the apron. I've seen a few drivers during the race even do that. It's definitely a driver's preference as to whether they want to go down there. There is no out of bounds, say, at like a speedway. So it makes it a little bit interesting. Some definitely want to use that to break the draft or just get around the track a little bit quicker. So again, it really comes down to driver style, and we got some, drivers with different perspectives on how to drive this track. So I think it really just comes down to what's going to get you around the track the fastest.
Yeah, we're definitely going to see guys do that during the race. I think there's a couple drivers that use it almost every lap, and I'm not 100% sure if there's a huge benefit to it or not, but I say it every time. It definitely feels faster.
Yeah, absolutely. And I believe this is this is the second to the last race, isn't it, Mike?
That's right. I think we finished up this season at Charlotte. Is that correct?
I believe you're right. I think I got to check myself.
Yeah, I would say about 80% sure that we finish up at Charlotte this season. Looking forward to getting this one in the books. I know we've got a pretty good chase going on. We've got 5 minutes left in qualifying, so let's take a quick second. We'll take a look at the top 25 in points. So right now, David Howard Jr. is leading the pack. He's got 1,087 points, and he's leading Nate LaFleur, who has 1,083 points. So pretty close battle, about 4 points really separating those guys, and it's quite easy to pick up 4 bonus points at one of these races.
Yeah, I would agree. And and don't count out Josh Buckley, sitting in 4th in points right now. He was the champion or points champion coming in. Maybe points champion is maybe a little bit more than, but he was the points leader.
He was definitely leading, yeah.
Yeah, so he was leading coming in. He had a kind of a race there that kind of threw him off his game a little bit, but he's right back in the action. I think it's it's anybody's race really, with almost back to 6th. Don't you think?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think anything could really happen these last 2 races, but the gap between the two, we're talking 15 points or so, 16 points between 1st and 6th, 17 points between 1st and 6th. It's that sort, really, one bad race, and it's going to change the whole top 5 here.
Yeah, I would agree. I think the outlier, and everybody's kind of got it on their mind, you don't want to get caught up in somebody else's incident. Sometimes you can't avoid it. Sometimes you can. But these guys have been racing with each other for quite a while now, so I would only expect them to uh, be able to adjust to whatever the track gives them. But you definitely don't want to be in an incident here with two to go.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're absolutely right. And I think you kind of got to manage your game. I think that's why qualifying here specifically might be extremely important. As we see right now, Nate LaFleur top of the charts with the fastest lap of 39.506.
Yeah, and you know that doesn't surprise me with both Nate and John Pershing Jr. being up there 1-2. Those guys in Wild Racing, teammates, probably working together to get some good times here. They're actually what three
Yeah,
tenths of a second.
they're less than that, 300ths of a second.
Yeah,
they're quite close. 700ths of a second. Yeah, we're good at math. We're good at math.
yeah. I didn't go to school for math.
But as you can see here, Keith Haney is still on the track with that third quickest lap. He's trying to improve that. Hopefully he can jump to the charts. We got about 3 minutes left. That's good for, a quick little run, maybe 4 or 5. But I think really with the way that these cars are set up and tire wear, you really got to hit your fast lap, first, second lap out.
Yeah, and you only got, what do we got here? 10 minutes of qualifying, so we got about 3 minutes left. If you're going to get out there and get some laps, then you better do it now. I know all the drivers want to be able to get out there, get some laps in, get the best time they can, but if you're just driving around by yourself, you're probably where you're at.
Yeah, really, you kind of want to time it. You want to come out and maybe drive, maybe 10 car lengths behind the car in front of you, 5 car lengths behind the car in front of you, and try maybe catch a draft on that back stretch just to improve your time. It's definitely key here. As we see, on the front stretch, there's like six cars kind of in line running in each other's, tire tracks, and that's going to help them as we see Calvin jump up into third place.
Yeah, and Kelvin's always fast. I mean, he's always one to watch. I think he is the X factor in this. If we're going to see, a chase driver up front, I think Kelvin always brings that X factor, and it's definitely going to give them a run for their money. Yeah,
he's our only 3-win driver of the series in the series. He's won 3 times so far, and he's the only one currently racing with us that has that privilege of this season. I know Josh Buckley has 2 as well, but Calvin, he's really said over and over again that he is racing for wins because of his schedule. He can't commit to qualifying for the chase or running enough races where he would be in contention. So he's kind of just trying to pick up those win marks.
Yeah, absolutely. Kind of reminds you of the old road courses, doesn't it? Where the owners are bringing in these hired guns to go for the win here.
Yeah, for sure. We got a good turnout tonight. We got 20 drivers. Everyone's been on track. Everyone's put some laps down, so that's good to see.
Yeah, absolutely. So we got about a little bit over a minute left of qualifying here. So if they're going to get it done, they really need to get to it. So. Just want to check real quick see here. Pit road tonight's speed limit is 55, and our pace car speed is 70 this evening. So at least they'll be able to carry some decent speed down the pit. I think the track is big enough. If you find yourself in trouble and have to come in for the pits, I think you're going to have a little time to burn to get it repaired. I think with that being said, though, it makes it interesting because it is also a long way around if you do stay in there to try to get it fixed.
Yeah, it is quite a long track. Well, only larger than or the only tracks larger are the 2 super speedways. No restrictor plates here. That's why it's this and Michigan are really the fastest tracks on the circuit because they're so big. No restrictor plates, and that allows these cars to really kind of rev up top speed. Looks like qualifying is complete.
Yeah, looks like Nate LaFleur is going to really hold on to the first place finish here in qualifying.
Yeah, he's going to be starting out front. That's good to see. He's really good at those hot laps. He's always been really good at qualifying. So hopefully he can put in some consistent laps over the course of a run, and we'll see what kind of fall off there is. I know these guys have been talking about running over 15 laps on a fuel run, and I think that's it's really going to matter when they get down to the end of it on how their tires are doing.
Absolutely. So they're getting ready to grid up here. So last minute to get some tweaks in there if you're going to make them. I know some guys wait till the very last second to make an adjustment or whatever, but as they're gridding up, we'll have to see how it goes.
So what kind of who you picking for tonight's race?
I am going with the 29 of Dustin W. Phillips.
Nice, good to see him on track. He's I don't he hasn't been on track all that much this season, but he likes these bigger tracks, and starting 8th, that's a good place for him.
Yeah, and I think he's due, Dustin, between splitting his time up in the booth and out on the track, he's definitely a wheel man. He knows his way around. He knows how to get it done. I think he's got some colleagues in there that are really going to be able to help him out, whether it's teammates from the Hooligan Motorsports, or just finding and joining up with a partner. I think Dustin can get it done this evening.
I think my pick is going to be the 986 of James Skelton. He's been pretty consistent on both leagues. I've seen him in the booth over at Red Light after finishing top 3 a couple times this season, and I like what I see from him consistently on track. He really knows how to hold it together, and he's really quick at times. So he's got a good starting position here on 3rd. I think we're going to see him at the end of this race.
Yeah, you're right. James is crazy fast, and I've ran with him on, what was it, Sunday night. I ran again with him on Monday night, and he has had consistent speed. He's definitely carrying the momentum into this race. I think great pick, Mike. I think he's one to watch.
I may have lied about his starting position. I was looking at the wrong number. He is starting 5th, but I'm still excited to see what he can do here. As these these guys are rolling off, let's go through the grid. On the first row, we got Nate LaFleur starting on the inside. Outside, we've got John Fershing Jr.
Row 2, Calvin Allison and Keith Haney.
Row number 3, we've got James Skelton and William Long.
Row 4, Andrew Packer and David Howard Jr.
Row number 5 on the inside, we got Timothy Lewis and the 29 of Dustin Phillips.
Next row, we got Brent Rogers and Ricky Goodman.
Row number 7, we got Kevin O'Brien and Joshua Buckley.
Row 8, we got Jordan Beck and Mike Abbott.
Good to see Mike Abbott on the track. He was racing on Monday, and I'm glad to see him here tonight. Row number 9, we've got Daniel Haney and Kevin Cochran.
And rounding out the field in row 10, we got Jonas Hankins and Butch Frazier.
A couple drivers that we haven't seen in a couple weeks, so it's good to see them on the track. So I'm excited to see what these guys do.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, pace car is off. We're going to be getting the green flag. These guys are going to run real hard into 1. These big tracks really show some crazy restarts. Cars can get 3, 4 wide even. I'm excited to see what these guys do.
Yeah, good start here. Doesn't look like anybody's being overly aggressive down the front stretch as they go into 1. Looks like we got some guys trying to search for a position, but if I'm not mistaken, I don't know about you, Mike, but I like to take that higher line and then arc it down in there. Looks like we got some of them doing that.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it allows you to run off the corner a little bit faster, and you got to be careful when you're starting the race that you don't use that arc and run into somebody on the inside. But these guys are giving each other a lot of room. Looks like Nate is kind of using that to pull away. He does have the clean air, and he can really choose his preferred line when he's out there by himself.
Yeah, and it looked like Pete Haney was all over the back of the 28 there of Calvin Allison down the front stretch. Was able to really utilize that draft, but looks like he backed out of it a little bit as they go into 3. Got a little distance between him and the 28.
Looks like the 967 of Andrew Packer did put it up in the wall a couple times there on that backstretch. He does keep it together though. Looks like he's okay and he's rolling again.
Kind of reminds you of the freeway out there. There's a lot going on.
Yeah, you never know where to look here. These guys are all tight together, and we've said it over and over again. There's multiple lines, so guys can be diving all over the place, just looking for opportunities to pass. But long race, 100 laps, and these guys have gotten in line, and I think they're going to race smart for the first couple of runs here.
Yeah, I would agree. I don't see anybody getting real aggressive this early in the race, knowing that there's a lot on the line. So
let's take a look at Calvin's. We're on his in-car. We're just going to watch his line a little bit here and listen to his throttle control as he enters 1. He's off of it pretty good, but he's back on it. Maybe not full belt, but he's back on it real quick, and he's blipping it as he comes off. Looks like he was getting a little tight as he got back into that throttle.
yeah, he's definitely making his way to the front there, getting those guys in, reeling them in little by little.
Yeah, he's got a nice run right now here on John Furshing. Looks like he's going to try and look inside. Looks like John just kind of conceded the position there.
Yep. Real tight battle up here with these 4.
They've got a little bit of a second pack developing too, as these guys look like they're going too wide as they cross the start-finish line right here. Got Dustin, Brent, Mike, and Joshua all running pretty hard right here. Oh! Mike comes down into Josh. Looks like, it's going to turn the 8 around. That's unfortunate. And that's going to be our first caution of the night.
Yeah, the one to... I know we'll go back and check out that replay here in a second, but I know one to watch here is Will Long. He's really made up some positions there from the start. We'll have to watch him a little bit later on as we're checking out that replay.
See if we can take a look what happens. Looks like, I believe that's the 82 of Mike Abbott up high there, comes down. It looks like
he got crushed.
Yeah, it looks like Josh didn't enter the corner, as low as Mike had a thought there, which had him come down, and that sent Josh up into the 8 and put Mike, I believe, in the catch fence. Let's see if we can watch that again.
Yeah, and Mike and Josh get into it, and then we have Brent Rogers there that gets caught up in it. And, that's going to be a hard night for High Rev. They're probably both going to have to use a quick repair on that one. I don't think you can not be around this place with a damaged car and expect to make any ground. You got to have the aerodynamics here.
Yeah, riding along with Mike as he wall rides at the top of the wall into the catch fence. Good thing this is just virtual.
Yeah, and Josh has got to have it on. Oh my goodness, that was a pretty crazy wreck there by Abbott. He almost did an Austin Dillon.
Yeah, almost. Looks like we got all the drivers in pit road. Looks like Mike Abbott is in pit road, probably towing from that wreck.
And Calvin, what do you think about this? Not going in for tires, no fuel. Maybe he's just getting a point. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, we're only at lap 8, and I didn't catch the fuel run. Did you?
I actually did not either. So if I had to put a wager down on it, I would only assume that we would be in the 19 lap range, but that's just a guess, of course.
Well, we'll see if he comes down. We did have a bunch of people stay out. Looks like 1 through 9, or 1 through 6 rather, has stayed out. So Calvin Allison, John Fershing Jr., Jonas Hankins, Kevin O'Brien, Jordan Beck, and Kevin Cochran all stayed out.
But in all seriousness, no, we really got to look at Josh Buckley and his race tonight. He's got to have a clean race. He's probably got points on his mind. You know, Josh is a strong driver. I'm just kind of wondering how this is going to affect him mentally. It really throws your game off when you're 8 laps into a race and you're already involved in an incident. There's a lot of laps here where you got to keep the car clean. Pretty much, if he has one more, we have 2 this evening, don't we?
Yes, we do.
Yeah, so he'll be able to come back from it. I think it always throws you off. I don't know what your thoughts are on that.
No, I agree. I think, these guys are racing for the chase. They got to race a little bit differently. And, he's back, he's, a little bit back in the pack. He's not, he's not running for first, second, or fifth. And, these guys got to think about giving everybody as much room as they can. Like, looking at that wreck, nobody did anything intentionally. And, it looked like Josh just kind of maybe drifted up the track a little bit high on entry, and Mike, drove down into the track not expecting him to be there. And you got to kind of give and take, and looks like it just didn't happen there. And I really hate to see the 8 get caught up in that.
Yeah, and I'm showing the 8 being 2 laps down, and I'm not really sure. See,
I think both of them towed. I think Brent Rogers and Mike Abbott both towed.
Okay.
I could be mistaken, but these guys, need to get caught up as we're going to be going. We're going to be going back to green this time by.
If you're gonna have a wreck, now would be the time. But honestly, Mike, this is not the track for cautions. We've seen this race go almost caution-free, just because of the how open it is. I'm not. If I'm 2 laps down right now, I'm not feeling very optimistic.
Yeah, I agree. It's a tough place to earn your laps back purely because there's so much space, and even if you have a single car incident, you don't usually bring out a caution as we take the green flag here.
Yeah, Kelvin with a nice jump there. It's got Jonas behind him. He's going to pull up to that high line, get out in front of John Fershing Jr. as they go into 1. And Nate LaFleur, he finds himself in traffic now too, and it's a lot different than having with clean air on your car. Now he's dealing with traffic, and he's definitely dealing with that. As looked like him and Keith Haney got pretty close there.
Yeah, he's got a good run on Timothy Lewis right here. He's looking to the outside. Got to be careful, though. Timothy gets a little bit loose trying to turn down and saves it okay there, no problem.
Yeah, and that's interesting. It all depends on how the driver wants to take that corner. Some of them are pretty aggressive with it, so they'll drive it in there. And if you got a driver in front of you that wants to let off the gas a little bit earlier, it's something you definitely got to be aware of. So.
Going to ride along board with David Howard Jr. as he's watching this battle up in front of him for 7th place. He's going to go inside. Bunch of cars on the outside. It's literally like traffic here, bumper to bumper.
Yeah, and when you're doing that, you just kind of want to just get through that traffic as fast as you can, or otherwise maybe just kind of hang out. It is only, lap 11 or 12 here of the race. So.
Yeah, I know, lap 11, and we're running 3 wide into turn 1 here at 180 miles an hour.
But you got to really hand it to these guys. I mean, they're definitely giving each other room, and You know, they are 3 wide, almost to 4 wide there for a little bit. You know, they are keeping it together, so.
Yeah, it takes a lot of trust in, you know, the car below you or and above you, knowing that they're going to hold their line. And as wide as this track is, I don't care what track you're at, on exit of a corner, it's not wide enough.
Oh yeah, I hear you. Calvin just is really out there with almost a second lead over O'Brien.
Yeah,
Good run by Kevin O'Brien.
Great run by Kevin. With the way these guys are fighting behind them, these two are going to gap the field a little bit here. Looks like David Howard might have scraped the wall just a little bit there.
Yeah, I was going to say it might have been just a little bit more than a little bit. As you kind of see that car really slam it, and I'm glad to see he was able to keep it under control.
Yeah, just taking a nice close look up as he drives by here. Yeah, it's pretty damaged. That front end doesn't look too good, so aerodynamics are a big thing here. Hopefully he can keep some competitive times.
Yeah, I think he'll be somewhat competitive so long as he stays around other cars, but I would hate to see him towards the end of the rear end of the field, because that's just going to do nothing but hurt him there. So I'm showing Josh Buckley a lap down too. Is that what you're showing as well, Mike?
Yeah, I actually see him. I believe you're right. 2 laps down. 2 laps down. Or he's flirting with 1 lap. It keeps changing on me here.
Yeah, I'm showing him 1 lap down. Him and Mike Abbott. I believe he is the first car a lap down, and Brent Rogers, you know, with being 2 laps down. So.
Yeah, it looks like, Mike is back on track. That's good to see. I know he was parked there for a little bit.
And we talked about it, you know, these guys have stout quite a bit. I know we do have a little bit of traffic there towards the middle of the field, but this is the kind of race that I think Calvin Allison was looking for. He's definitely on a different fuel strategy, so he'll be coming in sooner than the other drivers.
Yeah, right now, you know, he's running his own race, and that's kind of what he wants. He's great when he can kind of run his own laps. He doesn't have to worry about any pressure right now. He's just in a rhythm. And but you got to remember, with being on that different fuel strategy, like you mentioned, he's going to have to be thinking about pitting before anybody else here.
Yeah, and if I know Calvin, I'm going to go that he's going to go with 2 tires and fuel, or maybe even just fuel. It's kind of a wild card when it comes to that. I haven't seen too many drivers not take any tires, but Calvin's been known to do that just for the sake of position. He's real good on the tires, tire management. He doesn't see the wear as maybe some of these guys do. So, and being out front with the lead that he has, there's no need to, you know, abuse the vehicle or the tires here. So.
Yeah, it looks like Kevin O'Brien's good run there kind of came to an end. Looks like he might have hit the wall pretty hard there. He went from 2nd to 13th in about a lap and a half.
So I definitely can speak to that. You know, being up front, sometimes you're your own worst enemy, to be quite honest with you. It's real easy to be behind somebody, follow and mimic that line, and then the next thing you know you're out front and you're really trying to gauge yourself, and you sometimes overthink it. And I think that's kind of what we've seen there with Kevin.
Looks like Timothy Lewis is looking on the inside of Jordan Beck here, is trying to make that pass work, and he's got a nice little run coming off of 4. He's going to drop down on that start-finish. Looks like he's going to make that pass pretty cleanly.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and we talked about this before with Tim Lewis. Raced with him over in red light, and I still think, from my perspective, he is the one that has brought on the most speed towards the end of the season. He's fast. I mean, he's competitive, and he's had a car that you've had to deal with to get around. So it's a good run for him this evening.
Yeah, he's you know, it's good to see him on the track, and I really like watching him work. And you're right, he's probably one of the most improved drivers over the course of the season, and You know, right now he's thinking about running up there and challenging Keith for second place. With that last lap, he looks like he's running just a little bit slower than second, so he's going to have to kind of put some laps together now that he's not battling anybody and see if he can reel him in.
So Calvin's approaching 20. I said 19, so I would only expect to see him here shortly.
Well, that or you're way wrong on your.
Hey, I'm never wrong. Come on now.
Yeah, I think you're right. He's probably going to be really thinking about pitting here pretty quickly. So, turning lap 20, finishing 20 right here, about to pull 21.
You know, just listening to a little bit of that in-car audio, David Howard Jr. is really calling out for drivers, directing traffic in the car. You know, normally you see a hand come out trying to tell drivers which side they need to go on. David's doing that over the radio, with that damage. I think he's starting to feel the
pressure,
the damage. Yeah, well, the pressure and the damage from the car. It's just definitely not handling right for him, and so he's just letting other guys go by that are faster. So
that's good. I think communication is definitely key here, and having an open mic where you can kind of call it what you need. There's nothing worse than running up on somebody and yelling at your monitor like stay high, and obviously they can't hear you and they come low and it just ruins your night. So. Opening up that mic and just saying, "Hey man, I'm coming up on you. This is where I need you," and most of the time they're going to help you out, especially if you're quicker.
Exactly, and I think he really needed James to go by him mainly because now he's got somebody to sit behind to increase his speed. If he's got nobody around him, he's just falling back, and we do see him fall back a little bit from James Skelton there, but it's definitely helping him out. It's improving his situation for the time being. So
right now Nate LaFleur is battling Timothy Lewis for that third position, doing everything he can to get around him here. He's trying that high line, but it didn't look like it worked that time. Tim was definitely quicker. He does have a good run though on the backstretch, so Tim's definitely running a little bit of a defensive line, and I think that bottom line is just working really well for him. All right, so we're finishing up lap 23, and the leader is still on track here.
Well, I never said to believe what I was talking about anyway.
None of us have ever claimed to know what we're talking about.
So true. That's why we're in the booth.
Right. Wow, he looked like he almost tapped the wall. Calvin in first place, really pushing the exit of that turn. Turn 2, but keeps it together here.
Yeah, and that makes you kind of wonder, is it...
Actually saying that, Keith has closed the gap to 1.1 seconds. I know Kelvin had a 2-second lead, and there he goes. He drops into pit. He's going to get a whoa down. Hopefully he does that. Wow, he locks up the brakes there at the commitment cone, but looks like he's good. We'll see if he has a clean stop here.
Yeah, he was definitely hard on the brakes getting in there. I'm hoping he was able to get it slowed down.
All right, nice clean stop in his pit stall there. Right sides go up. Wonder if he's going to take the 4. I think you're right. He's on the gas there. There he goes. Yeah, just 2.
Classic Calvin Allison.
Now he's got to hope that, he'd probably be okay even if we did see a caution. But he kind of wants it to cycle around again, I think. We've really got half the field on a really different fuel strategy.
Yeah, and the thing is, too, is they're spaced out. I mean, we don't really have a lump of cars running neck to neck. I mean, we do have a couple back there with Andrew Packer and Ricky Goodman and Butch Frazier. They're kind of in that same area. I'm sorry, and Daniel Haney. So.
Yeah, I think the closest gap we have right now on track is about an 1/8 of a second, or 0.8 of a second. And, in racing terms, that's a pretty wide gap. All these guys are strung out pretty well, and that's going to work probably to Calvin's advantage, I think.
Yeah, if they cycle through, it's definitely going to do that. I mean, right now half the field's a lap down, so. You know, we got 914 gonna pit here, and same with Andrew Packer and Nate LaFleur. So the rest of them are starting to head that way. You know, they're getting on the radio, letting them know that they're going to be coming. So,
And as they say that, looks like they pull in. We're on that pit road camera, taking a look.
so do you think anybody's going to be as bold to go with 2, or do you think they're going to go with 4?
You know, I think all the experienced racers here are going to go with 2. I don't think anybody on the pit road right this second will go with 4. I think 4 would be a mistake. You got to remember that these are 50% fuel runs, so you're really not burning your tires up. As I say, that looks like we've got a couple takers taking 4 tires. Everybody.
Yeah. Again with the disclaimer, if we knew what we were talking about, we'd probably be out there. So, you know, but I think it's a comfort thing. I think you go with what makes you feel that you're going to have what you need to be competitive, and maybe they just feel that it's early enough in the race. We're probably going to have a late caution that, you know, going with 4 isn't going to hurt them as much as they think it will. But
yeah, if we get a caution, you're right. The strategy absolutely pays off. The problem is if we don't get a caution, Calvin has just put 8 seconds, you know, ahead of you on the track, and like I said, 8 seconds in the pits. That's crazy amounts of time on the track. And just looking over our pit stops here, Butch Frazier only had a 4.3 second stop. I don't know if that was maybe a top up late in the run, last run. But Calvin took 2, John Fershing took 2, and it looks like we're continuing to cycle around here.
well, I think it's kind of interesting too that the folks that are still out there, quite a few of them are in that hooligan group, and I'm kind of wondering if there isn't some strategy being played there.
Oh, I guarantee you there's some team orders. And just looking at the chat, you know, we've got 2 distinct teams. We've got WoW Racing and Hooligan Motorsports. I swear we had a 4-car limit to teams, but we got 9 people in that chat channel. That's interesting.
Well, you just want to go where everyone knows your name.
Yeah, that is true. These guys definitely like you know, the camaraderie that they've formed. You know, over the last hey, you know, NAVSCAR has been around for, it's got to be almost a year now.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
Yeah, as we're seeing Will Long, second place car, come into the pits along with Keith Haney, the leader. So
Yep.
you want to go ahead and predict if they're going to take 2 or 4?
Nope.
Just thought I'd check. I'm going to go on a limb, and I'm saying
I think Keith's taking 2. Yeah.
Yep, and Will's taking 4. That's my guess.
Will's on the gas right now. You can see them. They're both on the gas. They're both taking 2 here. Yeah.
Yep.
You can see when the fire starts shooting out of the exhaust, they're
Yeah.
itching to get back on the gas. With that, Butch Frazier is in first, but he's dropping in right now for pits. Looks like Joshua Buckley behind him coming in as well. And that's
So does that leave Ricky Goodman though? Ricky Goodman's our leader?
no
as a
Ricky.
result?
He's pitted already, so Ricky's down to 10th.
Okay.
I believe that's going to have Calvin. He's about 16 seconds, but he's going to come and pass the 2 in the pits right now as he crosses the start-finish line, and that's going to give him back the lead. And now here's what's key here. How much of a gap is that going to give him over that second place Keith Haney? And right now it's a solid 4 seconds.
Yeah, Allison reminds me of the maestro out there, just orchestrating disaster and excitement. So
Yeah, and I think, you know, with him and Keith, they're running opposite fuel strategies here. So I think it has potential for one of them to pay off and one of them not to. So we'll see how that works. These guys are probably going to be swapping that lead every 10 to 12 laps as the other pits. Looks like we have a good battle going on right now for 5th place. John Fershing Jr. and Timothy Lewis fighting pretty hard for that position here.
Yeah, and I think if you're John Fershing Jr., you're really kind of in the catbird seat, aren't you? I mean, you got Tim Lewis in front of you. You're probably enjoying the draft here to a certain extent. And where you're really hoping to make a lot of speed up or a lot of distance up is in the corner, but
oh,
Tim
caution comes out.
Strong.
Caution is out. I'm not really sure. Did you catch who brought the caution out there?
I believe it was Mike Abbott. Yeah, I believe Mike just got loose coming out of 4.
Yeah, just taking a look at that right now, and you're right. Just a single car deal. I'm surprised he didn't catch that. Usually he's really good at catching those cars. He does look like he keeps it off the wall, so no more damage there, but he might have... he did blink out there, so maybe he did get a little bit of it. But the car looks okay. He's going to get it back up to speed, and just looking at it now, it looks absolutely perfect. So he'll come in, get 4 fresh tires, and that's going to change things. I don't know what we'll see. Are we going to see guys come out? All these guys come in and pit now, or are we going to see some guys stay out?
You know, I think everybody's looking for a reset. I'm seeing everybody come in. You're right. I'm checking out Mike Abbott's car too, and it does look extremely clean for going around there.
We'll see here, man. I don't think we're gonna see them all pit. Like Calvin just pit, so oh no, he pit a no, he pit a while back. So maybe he does come in. Maybe Keith Haney stays out. This will be interesting here.
Yeah, I guess I'm not the crew chief or anything. I just don't see any advantage of staying out right now. You got a caution. Why not bring it in and put some new ones on it?
Yeah, you're right. Oh, Joshua Buckley stays out. Well, he's a lap down. But you're right. Looks like almost the whole field here. Let's take a look at that pit road as they all come in. Now, are we taking the opportunity since we're under caution to take 4 tires? It looks like
I would.
Yeah, it looks like most of them are here. Timothy Lewis looks like he took 2. He gets out really quick here.
Yeah, these guys that took 2, I mean, why not just get 4 fresh ones on there and then be done with it?
Well, if you have an opportunity to make up 10, 15 positions on the track, why not? And we did have some drivers stay out. Ricky Goodman, James Skelton, both at the front of the field now, and I don't believe they pit. I believe Timothy Lewis will be the first one that came in.
So I know the drivers right now are talking about who's the lucky dog in this, so it'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
Well, the lucky dog would have already happened, wouldn't it?
I think so, and I think that's what we hear the 2 talking about right now as to who's the lucky dog. I think he was looking for his lap back there, so
It's probably the 82 of Mike Abbott, most likely, and that lucky dog would have been negated because of his incident.
yeah. Yeah, they're getting it sorted out. I think the officials are telling them that the Mike was the first lap down and, like to your point, caused the caution but didn't get it, so they still remain a lap down.
Yeah, it doesn't drop down to the next driver in that scenario. It's just there is no lucky dog. And that's consistent with NASCAR as well. But you can see Mike Abbott right now. He is the first car on. He's in front of the leader, so he will get a wave around this next time by. And it looks like Ricky Goodman will bring the cars to the green flag unless he decides to come in and pit. We did see James Skelton decide to come in. He gave up that second place position, but he did lead a lap. Maybe earlier on, but he does have one lap led, and that's going to be key for points.
Yeah, I was just listening to again some more radio traffic there. I don't think I could be wrong, but I don't think the 4 is going to come in. I think he's going to go ahead and stay out. Could be wrong though.
That sounds like Rick. He likes to live on the wild side. Start in front of a field of fresh tires with your old scuffed tires. It's definitely something he would do. So he's always thinking about fuel mileage and the best thing to do and how he can win races, and never fault his strategy as long as he can hold it together.
Yeah, he's working out position here with the 914 of Tim Lewis, letting him know he was going to take the low side on the restart here. So.
All right, if you had to pick a driver to watch the restart from onboard camera, who would you be picking?
Honestly, I would go with Will Long.
Yeah.
I said earlier in the race, he's had a lot of speed. He's been actually passing some cars out there like it's going out of style. So I think he's got momentum going into this restart.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think he's definitely well positioned at least to put on a show. So we'll see how it goes. I love his Sony helmet here. He's got a nice little paint job on his helmet. I love seeing guys take the time to make sure that their paint jobs on their in-car stuff as well is looking good. So good job there.
Yeah, that's some great in-car camera work there.
Yeah, I do enjoy playing with the cameras. All right, looks like the pace car is going to jump in. Here we go. See these guys get back onto the throttle. We need some clean shifts here, and diving into one's always fun.
Got an awkward restart towards the back there. We got a lot of cars spaced out, but we got the 4 and the 914 of Tim Lewis going down the front stretch.
Whoa!
Keith Haney into the 4.
That was a good save there.
Yeah, and then to the 915 of Fershing, just touched him a little bit. Oh, they go around. Jonas Hankins looked like he went around, just got on the nose there of Keith Haney and causes a pretty big accident.
Oh, yeah.
Well, cautions breed cautions, they say.
Let's see if we can take a look again here. Yeah, that's an interesting one. I know looks like Jonas might have just drifted out and wrapped himself around the 987.
Just taking a look at the replay here a second.
Yeah, if you use those sealer strips as reference here on the track, you can see that the 913, I believe, is going to drift a little bit right here. There might have been some net code too. It looks like it's a combination of both. But yeah, that's unfortunate, and it's just going to spin him up right in front of the 95. The 915, sorry.
Yeah, and I know the 29 just sitting right behind that got involved with that as well. So
Yeah.
I'm not. I
Yeah,
know he went around. I don't know how much damage he has.
yeah. You can see he was checking up as these guys were wrecking, and he definitely just got rear-ended, and just in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah, and the 29's definitely got some damage. Taking a look at it on the right side here, so definitely going to see him come in and get that fixed. He's got damage on the right quarter panel and also on the back of the car. So.
Well, let's take that opportunity to remind our viewers, if you're interested in joining one of our leagues, if you like what you see, check out our website. You can go to us at NAVSCAR.com. All our information about our league, how to join, what kind of races we run, all listed up there. We're closed right now for new applicants with these last two races, but once we get through these two races, we're going to open it back up for our preseason Thunder, which is our recruitment series, and we'll be, looking forward to getting some new guys into the league and meeting some new people. But if you want something that's a little bit different, a little bit more serious than your average iRacing, hosted event or not hosted event, come check us out. As well, our sister league, redlightleague.com, you can check them out as well. They run on Monday nights, and they're finishing up their season here next Monday as well. So they're finishing at Bristol. What do you think about that for a finish for a last race?
That's definitely going to make it interesting. Bristol is, I don't want to say it's calamity corner in there, but it definitely will get interesting. I don't know that you need the aero package like you would at a place like Auto Club here, but I think it's if you want to watch a race that's going to have people using the chrome bumper a little bit to move people, that's probably the one you're going to want to check out.
Yeah, and my thought is at least they will have about 6 weeks to cool down after that race before we get back on the track. So lights are still on the pace car. We got at least one more to go here. Looks like Timothy Lewis is out front right now. Nate LaFleur second place. Ricky Goodman back up to third, and William Long fourth, with James Skelton rounding out the top five. You hearing any interesting race chatter amongst our in-car radios?
Yeah, I am. I know we have Raymond Edge, one of the administrators in the league, in there managing some of the flags and some of the radio traffic right now. The main discussion is really about if there was a rule as to whether or not to stay high in pit road until you get to your pit stop. And I can tell you firsthand, I briefed all the drivers at the beginning of the race that was a rule, and it was mandatory that they do so. So I think Raymond is reminding them of such rule right now.
Do we see a collision on pit road?
No, I just think, with some of the individuals that were involved in the incident, they're trying to get to their pit stops or make their pit stops, and are definitely not on that high line going in. So I think it was observed by other drivers and just wanted equity throughout the race here. So.
Right, real quick before we get to the green flag, we did have someone ask us who the point leader is. So let's just take a look real quick, just to remind our viewers. David Howard Jr. right now is leading the points to the championship with 2 races, or I guess 1.5 races to go. Right now he's on the track. David Howard is in 11th place, so he's looking to improve a little bit to keep that points lead. But Nate LaFleur is looking really good in 2nd place.
Yeah, so I'm showing Tim Lewis as our leader. Is that who you got as well?
Yep, I'm seeing him as well as going to lead the field to the green here.
Very nice. Again, we've talked about him. Some of these drivers are coming strong late in the season here. If you would have told me that I needed to watch Tim Lewis here at the beginning of the season, I would have said sure. You know, I mean, he's a great driver, but like I said, just the speed we're seeing out of Tim these last few weeks has been very impressive. You know, another one that we talked about is Will Long and James Skelton. They've all come on strong.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to. Ricky Goodman's going to go back in the middle here as he looks just a little bit uncomfortable in those. I don't believe he's pit yet for tires, so he's going to want to try and hold his line, make sure everybody gets around him.
Well, you talked about it, and you probably know his mindset. You know, is he's a risk taker. You know, and he's trying to secure that top spot of our non-chase drivers. What are your thoughts on it?
Well, you know, he does have a bit of a buffer right now, especially with Jeremy Patterson not showing up to this race. Kind of just takes him out of competition. So he is leading that non-chase race position. And as long as he has a clean race and finishes, you know, mid-pack and doesn't, you know, wreck and ruin his night, I think he's going to be good going into the last race of the series next week.
Yeah, I would agree. So we got green flag and we're off. Kevin O'Brien, or I'm sorry, with Tim Lewis with a great restart with pulling Ricky along with him as Nate LaFleur tries to get down into that second position.
Yeah, you know, I think we've said it a couple times tonight. Clean air, man. It's such a nice thing once you you know, you've been racing in the pack all race and then you get out front. You're like, wow, man, I got all this track I can run on. I can put together my own lap and I can be quick. And looks like the 986 James Skelton get real loose there. He's bobbling real bad, but does a great job saving it.
But look who's moved up into third with Will Long. We were talking about him earlier. He got a great run out of 2 and into 3. So
yeah, John Fershing just behind him, and you know, these guys are all tight battling right now for that top 5 positions here. You know, it's crazy how things can change. You know, Calvin Allison was really running away with this race, and now Calvin's back in 9th.
I don't think Calvin's really overly concerned, though.
No, he's definitely probably one of the smartest, most consistent racers on the track. He's going to just kind of play it safe. He doesn't want to get collected in anybody else's wreck, and he knows if he needs to, he can start pushing his way up to the front.
You know, the one thing I haven't seen, though, is I haven't seen a whole lot of drivers drive down into that apron there.
As you see that, Nate LaFleur, you know, drives it down into the grass to make that pass for first place here.
Oh, I missed that.
He's battling really hard with Timothy Lewis on the outside, and they're side by side. William Long looks like he's thinking about going up the middle. He's definitely gonna battle for these. As these guys running hard, he's gonna use the opportunity to get by possibly both of them here as he goes inside, diving into turn 3.
Yeah, some real tight action there. John Fershing's thinking about it as well. Four-car battle up front. Gotta love to see this. Ooh, John pushing out. Looks like he got a little bit loose there, don't you think?
Yeah, it looks like he ran it a little bit hard, and then, you know, he had to kind of turn it hard left just to keep it from drifting up, and that gets you loose real quick. But
he is able to maintain speed and keep it going. He's got a good run here.
Timothy sucks up real good in the corner, but just causes an accordion effect as he gets off. David Howard Jr. kind of backs it up, and it looks like Keith Haney's going to go around the outside.
Yeah, both of the David Howard Jr. and Tim Lewis put those tires on that white line in 3, and that's a kind of a dangerous situation there. So,
3 wide almost going into turn 1. These is some great racing going on right here. Nate's got a great run coming off of 2. Looks like he's going to look on the outside of William Long. I don't know if he's going to be able to complete that pass. Looks like the lower line has been the preferred line going through 3 and 4.
Yeah, which is kind of surprising me, but you know, if you can make the car stick, it works. But I think you're using those tires up to get the position, and you know that works in the short term. I don't know about the long term. Nate down on that apron, trying to break that draft, if you will.
And Timothy Lewis, in the inside is David Howard Jr. Looks like he's running around the outside as well. Tim, it looks like he might just jump up in line here as these guys are finally getting sorted out.
Looks like Dustin Phillips has got a good run here as he's catching on the back end of Tim Lewis. They're all carrying a lot of speed being this close together.
Yeah, definitely like a little train going on. They all suck up to each other in the draft, and as we say, that looks like Tim is sucking up to these two cars in front of them as they battle for position. And you're right, Dustin's got a good view of all the action right here. He's holding his own. It's good to see him back up at 7th after having that unfortunate incident. I'm sure he's happy to have the leader in sights.
Yep. I'll be right back, Mike. One of the administrators is asking for me to drop into a room real quick, so I'll be right back.
Time for it. Some great racing going on here up front. 47 laps to go. Still lots of racing left. Timothy Lewis once again looking on the inside of David Howard Jr. Looks like Keith Haney might stop his progress as he has really nowhere to go unless he stays low, which he tries to do here. Makes that clean pass. Looks like David might try the crossover, but again, these guys are pretty spread out. Nice line going on here for the top 7 cars. Definitely don't see we don't see what we saw earlier with Calvin Allison just kind of really putting the show onto the field and getting away from these guys. Calvin is fighting for a position back in 11th place. So with 46 laps to go, he's got to make something happen here. He's going to have to start thinking about coming back for position. .907's looking on the inside of Nate LaFleur. Let's see if we can go on board with him and take a look at what kind of lines he's running right here. Can hear him right onto the throttle. Pretty good on exit. He's going to drop down, try and draft Tim here. He knows that drafting is a key here. It's not, it's not as important as super speedway, but it does definitely keep your momentum up. We'll see how he dives in. Really just barely off the throttle. He's back on it. You can see him playing with it, trying to figure out when he can get the car settled to get back on the gas. Wow, he's got a good run off of 1, but looks like he got off the gas just right at the exit, and that hurts his run off a little bit there. Jamie's back in the booth. Everything sorted out?
Yeah, for the most part, I think so. We were just discussing some of the calls that were being made, and I think Raymond Edge, one of the administrators, will be joining us here a little bit in the booth to give us an update. So
right now we're just running on board with David Howard Jr. Looks like we're going to go 3 wide, entering 1.
That doesn't look like it's going to work out so well. Tight racing up here as Nate LaFleur gets a heck of a run. Five cars under a blanket here.
Some really good racing. This track is definitely producing some great stuff here. I'm good to see that happening. 43 laps to go.
Yeah, and I'm hearing some radio traffic from the 915 letting maybe Will Long know that he would like to lead a lap here as he makes a heck of a run under Will.
You think Will just let him in there?
I don't know. I don't think he did, but he was saying he was trying to get the extra point for leading a lap. So I don't think Will would have just gave that to him, but he was definitely making his intentions known.
Well, it'll be interesting to see after he leads his lap if he gives it back. I don't think with Keith Haney right behind him, it's a good idea.
Yeah, I don't. I don't think anybody's giving anybody positions out here.
Yeah.
You might see it with some teammates early on in the race, but as we're getting down to the latter part, I don't think anybody's handing over positions. Oh, Will Long into the wall.
Oh yeah, he's super slow. That's just probably we're at about the time where the car just loses its grip, and we might have seen that some tire wear. It looks like that car's pretty beat up now, though.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's sometimes, like I said earlier, you are your own worst enemy out there because you're overthinking it. Here, Will Long's leading the race. He's got a lot of pressure by John Fershing Jr., and he's probably overdriving the car a little bit more than he should, and the tires heat up a little bit more than what he was expecting, and next thing you know, you find yourself a few positions back after finding the wall.
Now we're gonna see pit stops here pretty soon. I don't remember what the last pit run was, but I think we'll see guys dive off here in the next 5 or so laps.
So we didn't mention, but just want to call it out if it wasn't obvious already, but looks like Jonas has kind of retired for this evening. Brought that car back to the garage.
Yeah, I didn't notice that, but you're right. He's got it parked. Just to remind our viewers, if you're noticing that some drivers have a 9 in front of their number, that's how we, as drivers and broadcasters, we distinguish new drivers to the league. So we require everybody when they first join the league, they run a 9 in front of their number. That's, for lack of better term, it's our rookie stripe. And at the end of a full season, once you run a full season and you meet our minimum participation requirements and our safety requirements, we promote you up into the season or into the league, and we drop the 9. So right now we do have a bunch of 9s in the league, and we're just about finished our season. We're got one more race next week, and we should see a lot of these drivers drop their 9s.
Yeah, that will be good to see.
Yeah, I definitely think we're looking forward to getting a new batch of green drivers in here and seeing if we can add to the field. We got a great turnout here tonight with 20 drivers, and I'm happy with that. Next season, let's talk a little bit about that. We're going to be changing over to our Pro A-Class cars. What are your thoughts on those?
I'm excited about it. I mean, I like to see those guys in the A cars. Don't get me wrong, gotta love the Camaros and the trucks, but for the speed, you can't go wrong with going with the A's.
Yeah, it's definitely a different feel all around. I think it's going to be a step up for some of these guys. As we got David Howard Jr., looks like he's jumping onto pit road.
Be our third place car, I believe, right?
That's correct. So yeah, I think it's going to be it'll be an interesting season. We do have our schedule firmed up. We have not put that public yet. We will be at the end of this race putting it up here for all to see, and we'll have a post about it on our website probably tomorrow. But we have our schedule firmed up for next season, and we're looking forward to getting that out there so people can start practicing now.
So we got drivers calling in that they're coming in. John Fershing Jr., Keith Haney, James Skelton, and Dustin Phillips all headed to pit road. Oh, it looks like Keith Haney might have actually stayed out. I thought he was going to go in there. He may have been telling me he was going to and decided to lead a lap maybe.
Yeah, he's led a couple already tonight. Maybe he just aborted. You see a bunch of people ahead of you coming in, and you don't necessarily want to come in with them. You kind of want a clean pit stop. You want to be able to get in and out without having any incidents. So that's possible.
All right, so Keith is calling it this time. Let's see if he actually follows through. Or maybe I just misunderstood him. I don't want to overspeak there for Keith,
right.
But I thought he was coming.
It looks like he's slowing it down right now. He's coming in, and Calvin Allison is right behind him, going to follow him in. Now, these guys, you got to remember, earlier on were 1-2, so it's interesting to see them so close together as we cycle through it here.
Yeah, and Calvin came in there hot, didn't he?
Yeah, he made up a bunch of time. He was at least 10 10 car lengths back on the track, but he's driving around him right now, and they're gonna have to be careful getting into their box. I don't know who's gonna be pulling off first here.
Well, I think we know it's 2 in fuel for the 28.
Yeah, let's take a look here as the right sides are gonna go up here. We can see the fire coming out of those pipes already, and they're back on it.
Looks to work out in the 28's favor, so.
Yeah, he definitely, that shows what getting on pit road hard, getting off pit road hard, and that pit box right up at the front of the pit entry, or pit exit rather, can definitely work to your advantage as he makes that pass while getting service. And Butch Fraser once again up front, but he just jumps off and he is on pit road now.
So about 30 to go, is that what you're showing? Close to?
Yeah, 33 laps. Going to be finishing the 32nd, or finishing this lap here with 32 to go as we cross right now.
So, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't believe anybody can make it here on gas.
No, I think you've got that down for sure here. These guys will not be going to the end.
So I'm trying to wonder I'm trying to figure out who this works out for. You know what I mean? They're definitely on a different cycle again. I think Calvin can stay out there a little bit longer, but it's not going to be enough to win the race, I don't believe.
No, but you know what? I think they are on different cycles. We got to remember now they all have to pit one more time. So I think it's a level playing field in that sense. So I think this strategy kind of worked out for these guys. These guys are up front. Everybody on the track needs to pit again. And if anything, with Keith Haney and Calvin Allison just coming out of the pit, that means they need less gas than everybody else, so they can sit on pit road just a little bit less time. I don't think we'll see tires on the next stop.
So we're joined by Raymond Edge in the booth. How's it going tonight, Raymond?
Interesting, to say the least.
It's always interesting here.
No, I'll keep that one to myself.
Nice.
Okay.
I'm sure we'll have a little admin meeting after the race, as looks like Dustin Phillips is putting a little pressure on John Frisching Jr. as these guys are going to go around him here.
Oh yeah, fuel mileage, man. Another fuel mileage race. Imagine that.
It does look that way, and as I was just saying, I think right now Calvin and Keith are looking pretty good.
Yeah, Keith's yeah, if I can speak tonight, Keith's been able to stretch his fuel a little bit longer. Everybody's trying to figure out how in the heck he's doing it.
Well,
you don't think? I was gonna say you don't think anyone would go to the end from here, right? Yeah.
We'll have to check that car in post-race inspection.
He's been good mileage, that's for sure. He was running out, he said a while ago.
Oh, Dustin into the wall and into Will Long there.
Yeah, Dustin got a little loose and didn't save it. Will Long almost turned him over. We got a caution, which is that's going to change everything.
Yeah, Dustin's got a lot of damage on that 29, and I think he's trying to figure out whether or not he wanted to go into pit road or bring it back out. Looks like he's heading back out.
Let's take a look.
He got down on the apron.
Yeah, you can see that right here as we watch in slow motion. He gets that front end. Just that tire hits that flat surface, and you know what? You can't do that here. He's way down on the apron, and that's gonna get you super loose as we see him kind of turn it around here.
Well, I think some of that had to do with the two-tire stop. They were complaining that the car was loose under with just the 2 tires, and it's already loose with 4, so I think they were hoping it was going to tighten it up a little bit and get some better drive off. But yeah, I think they just needed to get the tires on.
You can see him in the gas trying to keep it off the wall, keep it down on the track, and he does, but it looks like it just kind of snaps around on him. And the 904, William Long is going to just come up and just punt him, just perfect timing. Or the 911 just boom puts him up over on his hood here. Look at that, some crazy footage, and
yeah. And Dustin tried to make it around, and his car just blew, and he's stopping there on the apron now, and it's now being towed. So this isn't looking good for the 29.
Yeah, I don't know. Does he have any quick repairs left?
I doubt it. I don't know.
I think he may have had one, but that towing is definitely going to hurt him.
As we got the field, looks like everyone's going to come down here. Oh, we got Calvin Allison playing some games, and everybody is looking. That just kind of sets people off. We had a couple people go through the grass there.
Calvin and his wonderful pit strategies. He drives me insane being a crew chief sometimes.
Yeah, I guess he's decided that no one's going 28 laps here, which is... You know what? I bet you we're going to see him come down. I bet you we're going to see him do 2 more laps, come down, get fuel, top up, and he's going to bet that these guys might come down and top up as well. So he might get some of those positions back. But I think we're pretty close to a fuel run here, are we not?
I think he almost dropped his drink right there.
Yeah, that's what I heard the radio chatter talk.
Well, he shouldn't be drinking and driving.
Yeah, there they go talking about eating now. Now they're making me hungry. Where's that Klondike car?
Yeah.
That's only in the Sunday series.
Oh, yeah.
And we don't see him saving fuel, which I'm kind of surprised about as well. What are your thoughts on that, Mike?
Because I'm thinking he's going to jump in here, unless I'm totally incorrect, which I have been before. But I think we're going to see him come down and top up. I'm riding on board with him now. Let's take a look and see if he's turning left. No, he's not. Maybe one more lap, or you're right. He's definitely not saving gas. He's running 4,300 RPM. He's not even trying at this point. So unless he's just come to grips with the fact that he's going to have to pit again, and he doesn't need to save at this point.
So is Josh Buckley the 2? Is he our lucky dog here, or was he the lucky dog in the last one?
Yeah, I think he got his lap back this time.
Okay. So he's back on the lead lap. He's got a lot of work to do.
Yeah,
we talked about it in the points from a points perspective. He's got to make his way through that field. So
he is on the lead lap. He is just pulling into his pit box right now. His car looks pretty beat up, and he's taken 4 tires. But I don't see a quick repair unless we see it bounce back. Nope. So he's probably going to sit here and try and get some of that damage hammered out.
Yeah, that car looks pretty rough, doesn't it? Definitely got some right side damage down there.
Yeah, just a little.
Well, David Howard Jr. finds himself up in second place there behind Calvin Allison. David's having a great night. He obviously carrying that momentum in from last week. He was talking about it in our post-race interview about being able to carry that momentum. Looks like he's doing that, so hopefully this will turn out good for him.
It's definitely down to pit strategy from this point on, I'm sure.
You know, in the real world, as I like to call it for NASCAR, we did see 2 fuel strategy, fuel mileage races back to back. So they're just as valid. Those wins don't matter.
True.
And it's
absolutely sure.
Interesting going into Michigan this week, where we could probably see another fuel mileage race if it runs out right.
Definitely. All right, well, I better get back down there. They're getting ready to come back to green, so we'll catch you guys after the race.
Yeah, make sure no one kills each other down there.
I'm not promising anything.
Yeah, right.
I was going to say, I don't think we want to see any, Kozlowski, Matt Kenseth action going on after the race.
Yeah, I'm. I wouldn't be surprised if we get an earful after this race. But you know what? It's produced some good racing. So far, this race has been extremely entertaining, and I'm looking forward to getting this one in the books. With 26 laps left to go, we'll have 25 as we take the green, and man, it's going to be interesting. We know Calvin can't make it, but what about all these other cars that pit? Can they make it?
I don't think so. I just don't see that happening. It's going to be right on the bubble. What do we got, 25 to go?
25 to go.
It's close. Remember we were talking about it at the earlier
Yeah, we
race.
said 23, right? 24. It's going to be close. But you never know. Caution's be cautious. We could see more here as we look like we're going to take the green here.
Yeah, can we key in on the 2? Let's see what kind of restart he gets.
On the 2?
Yeah, on the 2.
Oh yeah, he had a bit of a run there. Looks like he's running up into turn 2, but he's gonna let that run kind of get away from him. So, but he is passing Rick on the outside with a good head of steam there.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it. He's got to come through the field. To me, go time is now for Josh Buckley. If he doesn't go now, they're gonna get too spaced out. He's got to keep going.
Yeah, it looks like he's putting a clean one on the inside of the 29 of. Dustin Phillips, but Dustin Phillips is a lap down.
Oh yeah, that toe must have really put him there, I guess.
Back up front, we're taking a look here. Keith Haney, Nate LaFleur running 1-2 on the outside. Kelvin Elson's looking to go around for second place here. He might be worried about David Howard as he comes inside.
Yeah, and I don't think these guys are going to give it all. I think that time for giving is. It's
oh yeah,
Thanksgiving.
It's no more giving, man. This is taken. It's all taken. You know, David Howard sitting in third place is he's yet to lead a lap tonight. He's itching to get up in front, turning some quick laps right now. But Nate LaFleur, he's led a couple laps here this evening, and like I said, clean air. But Keith Haney's got a great run going into third.
Yeah, and Kelvin Ellison is just kind of hanging out in the back. I think he's just waiting to see what these three are going to do, and going to try to capitalize it when he sees the opportunity. So
you got to remember though, he's on some old tires. He did not pit. All these guys have new tires.
So if you're Keith Haney and you're looking in the rearview mirror, what are you thinking?
Keep
That's
fighting.
A lot of cars.
Yeah, you guys just fight it out. I'm good up here. You guys stay back there. You know he's driving out of his mirror though, and that can definitely hurt you. You can screw up a corner exit, and you got to be careful. But right now he's he's looking up in his mirror more than he's looking out the front window. I guarantee it.
It's so interesting too because as they're going into the corners, they've got to be mindful of the cars that are around them, especially because I have a feeling some of these guys are overdriving it a little bit. As we see Keith Haney just, really taking those corners at a different arch than some of the guys behind him.
Yeah, but that's what clean air will let you do. You can kind of make your own line. But you're right. As soon as you get cars around you, you got to be really mindful of where you're going to put your car and where they're going to put their car. And if you're on the inside and you drive it too hard, you're just going to wash up the track and ruin not only your race but the car outside you.
Looks like John Fershing Jr. is on the move here under Nate LaFleur.
Yeah, father son, right? They're pushing real hard here. Getting pretty spread out, first through third. Got about half a second gap between first and second, third. But they're racing real hard right now for third, fourth, and fifth on back.
And I don't see any of those cars in the second pack really making any ground up. In fact, they almost seem to be kind of losing the main pack here.
Yeah, the main pack here is definitely spread out, and they're kind of running in line, and that second pack is just kind of battling. And it's definitely faster to be in line here, as these guys show that you can turn some quick laps if you're not side by side. But you got to remember, these guys still At least I think everybody still has to pit again. The key is, when is Calvin going to have to come in?
Yeah, I'm not sure about that.
Taking a look at that second pack, you're right, we got some crazy racing going on here.
Yeah, it looks like Josh Buckley right behind Mike Abbott, and is it Brent Rogers that's on the outside there?
Joshua looks like he spun out, but I don't see a caution there. And he kind of just ran into the back of Mike Abbott there and lost the car, but no caution.
Yeah, that was some real close racing there. Looks like somebody else got caught up in that. Might have been Jordan Beck, I believe, that was right behind Josh Buckley at the time. So.
Nate LaFleur makes a clean pass there on Calvin Allison. It looks like John Fershing Jr. is going to try and follow underneath as well. I think Calvin might be wishing he came in to get tires, because, you know, on that last stop now, I don't think he can take them.
Yeah, and Keith Haney is really just stretching out that lead. I mean, David Howard Jr. in second. He's I don't think he's really gaining on any ground on him. Still kind of keeps in that half second back. I'm really curious if they're going to make it all the way.
I don't think, you know, we're still 16 laps to go. I running full belt like this up front, you're not going the whole way. Like, I think to go the whole way, they got to be conserving, and I would say running these times, they are not conserving.
Well, there's one person I know that's not conserving, and that's Keith Haney, because I don't think he's let up off that throttle since he's been up there.
Here's key. Okay, Calvin Allison just comes into pit. Let's take a look and see what kind of pit stop he has. If he can have a smooth pit here, he's going to get back out, and he's going to be able to. He'll be separate from these guys, and he'll be able to run some super quick laps because he's been quick all night. So he might be hoping to leapfrog these guys during their pit stops if he can pull it off.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what he does here. We're going to see fuel only. Right side does not go up. Oh, it does go up. He is taking right sides. 15 laps, you still need quite a bit of fuel. Oh, he's taking left sides too. That's interesting. That's the first time all night we've seen him take 4 tires.
Well, he must think that there's going to be some advantage by doing that, you know, similar to what you said. And I think he's got Keith Haney's attention, as I heard some radio traffic there with sounded like a little bit of concern about how this is going to rotate through if there's no cautions.
I'm not sure how it'll rotate through. Like, with him taking 4 tires, I don't know if Keith Haney's aware of that, but somebody might make him aware that Calvin Allison took 4. So take 2 tires. You're gonna close 8 seconds on him. So
well, you don't really have a choice, do you? You've got to take 2. Take 2 or none.
Yeah, none would be like with 13 to go. These guys really probably gonna need what, 3 laps of gas?
Yeah, they barely need anything. You know, but how many people, to your point, are mindful of that? Because I think it's one of those things that, you know, you just come in and get gas. You don't actually remember to turn down that fuel.
Yeah, you know what? I you know, you'll be rolling down pit road and you'll be like, shit, I think I forgot to do something. And all of a sudden you're changing 4 tires and changing a windshield and all this stuff. So
exactly.
As we got Nate LaFleur and David Howard both pitting together, that's there must have been some communication there. But let's see what these guys do. It's going to be key on what they do here.
Yep, and it's great to be leading the race right now, but if you're Keith Haney, do you keep staying out there or as long as you can?
Well, if everybody behind you pits, I think it's time to come in. Unless you're hoping for a caution, you know. If there's no, we're taking 2 tires. We've got right sides up there. Right sides. So right side's only for David. Looks like I would guess Nate takes the same. He does. And with that, now that I'm Keith and I know what everyone else has done, I think I come in. You know, James is still 2 seconds back. John's still back. We haven't seen all of these guys decide that they're going to pit yet, but At what point do you got to just say, I'm coming in?
Yeah, and I haven't seen Keith, get off the throttle. He still keeps going around there. I've heard no radio chatter. So he's got to be thinking about it. It's got to be on his mind. And I believe he's got Nate LaFleur and John Frisching Jr. there right in front of him.
Yeah, right in front of him. So maybe, now, though, if you've got two guys in front of you with fresh tires and you can keep pace with them, then maybe you stretch it out. It's an interesting call either way with 10 to go.
Yeah, and I think I may have just heard him call on the radio that he may be coming in this time. We'll have to see. I'm not sure if that was a call for coming into the pits or if he was responding to something else.
Well, he's definitely slower than David Howard. He's kind of pulled away quickly here. He's not pitting. But let's compare these times right here, okay? So Keith Haney, this lap looks like he just turned a 39.891. Let's take a look at David Howard Jr., who pulled a 39.722. So, he's a tenth or two off, and if you're a tenth or two off of a guy that was 4/10 behind you, you got to come in.
Yeah, he's gonna get eaten up out there when he does.
And if he can't keep up with David right now and Nate, who were behind him when they pit, he's got to come in. I think every lap, the only thing he can do that will kind of possibly negate that is if he doesn't take tires and has a really, really quick fuel only stop. Even a caution right here doesn't help him because those two cars are not a lap down.
Right.
Back in third place, battling for third, we've got Timothy Lewis and John Frisching Jr. battling pretty hard here around lap traffic. These guys are battling for position, and they're about 4 seconds off the leader. They have not pit yet either, so be interesting to see. This is where we could see some magic happen. Through the fourth, fifth place position, Ricky Goodman right now is in sixth place, about 15 seconds back. If Ricky Goodman is managing his fuel and trying to stretch this all the way to the finish, you never know what could happen. No comment on that, man? I thought that was pretty insightful.
No, it's not that I didn't have a comment on it. I'm actually trying to keep track of Kelvin Allison out there on the track. I was wanting to know if his speed was a little bit better than our leaders here. As he's catching traffic and he's making his way back up through the field. So
yeah, Kelvin is definitely 0.2 quicker. I believe he's the fastest car on the track. Let me double check here. Nate LaFleur right now is the fastest car on that track that last lap. Calvin Allison was second. David Howard Jr., Keith Haney following that. As there's Keith. He's coming in right now. So let's see what he does here. We got to see how it cycles through when he's done.
And Kelvin just went around him there in the pit. So Kelvin is hauling right now.
Yeah, Kelvin. That was him just gaining his lap back right there. So he's going to be running around trying to get around him as he exits, but let's see what he does here as he pulls into his box. Yeah, no tires, just gas. That's key. That's what he had to do, but that was still a 3.4 second stop.
But I wouldn't count him good until he gets back on the track. You know how loose those tires can be.
Now it'll be interesting to see who he comes out in front of here.
Wow,
he's real loose. And I got a car blowing up on the inside. Looks like they got off the track, though. No caution, which is a good thing for Keith here, I think. 4 laps to go. Now, here's where it gets exciting, dude. Okay, so he's back on the track. We have 4 laps to go, and we have 6 cars in front of him. not pitted yet. He's got to hope that all 6 of these cars can't go to the end.
Yeah, that was, just so you know, it was Brent Rogers that blew up there.
Brent Rogers, that's unfortunate. Did he hit a wall or he just blow up?
He actually was coming out of the pits, and looks like he just got loose, and the car came around on him.
Yeah, those tires could have been tires. So we've got Ricky Goodman in first place, Jordan Beck and Butch Frazier still on the track.
Oh, we got a car on the wall. We're under caution.
Oh, a caution. With 3 to go, that's going to be the end of the race. Can Ricky coast to the end of this race for a win?
I think he may.
What happened under caution? Let's, do you know what happened?
I think Nate LaFleur was definitely involved in that.
Seeing if we can take a look at a replay here. I got Nate up. Oh yeah. Some contact between looked like Andrew Packer and Nate LaFleur. Yeah, it looked like Nate just kind of turned down into him. I was not sure what that was, but yeah, that's unfortunate to bring out a caution at the end of the race. Let's take a look at our leader here. Ricky Goodman is. Let's go on board and see how hard he's saving gas. Now,
Yeah, I bet
he's got the clutch in, but he's not turning the motor off.
Yeah, and
he's way behind the pace car. He's got to keep up to the pace car.
I'd really like to see him be able to. I'd really like to be able to see him turn that car off.
Yeah, he's always saved gas in that manner. He always just push the clutch in, but just turning off the engine could go a long way. But that's where a button box kind of helps you, and I don't think he has a button box.
Kind of hope they would do voice attack.
Well, we're circling. We can announce here. We got our official race sponsor for next season. Official race sponsor is Voice Attack. They've come on board for next season. They are going to sponsor a race and sponsor the series. So we've got a couple of keys to give away next season. You know, maybe Ricky can get lucky and win one of the races, and then maybe he can turn that engine off.
I hope so. It's a long ways around.
Well, we're on the final lap, and I don't hear it sputtering, but at this speed, it'll just turn off.
Well, here we go. Across the finish line.
He's still got the car. The motor is still running. Oh man, is it just me or does he look slow?
I think he's got it.
He's got it. There's that checker flag. Second win of the season for Ricky Goodman. Good win there. Butch Frazier second place. Andrew Packer third. Who'd have saw that one coming? What a crazy finish.
Yeah, that is a crazy finish, and I think he's out of gas now. And I wonder if he's going to even have fuel to burn him down. I don't think he will.
Well, let's get our race winner in here. Race winner of the 4 of Ricky Goodman. Let's see what he has to say about that race.
Yeah, second win of the season.
Ricky Goodman, second race win of the season. Man, that looked like you were trying to reach around and throw a little bit of gas in the tank as you were taking those caution laps.
Oh yeah, for sure. I was praying for a caution because we had like 0.3 gallons left in the car, and we just barely crossed the line. So great job by my pit crew pulling me in with 2 to go on that last caution, and just filled it up enough to get the win.
Yeah, I was saying, as the leaders came in for their final pit stop, that a couple of you guys were staying out. I know Butch was still out. I was saying, it's like Ricky here to be thinking fuel mileage and thinking he can stretch it the whole way. Now, it goes green. I don't think you make it, but you lucked out with that last caution. And, hey, man, congratulations. That's going to really put you in a good spot for clinching that non-chase driver victory for the end of the season.
Yeah, we just planned to keep it clean. We stayed out on some of the early cautions when everybody was coming in. Got to lead a lap there. And we had a good fuel strategy and just got lucky with that last caution. I think we probably would have been short about 2 laps. We were really saving it at the end, but came through with the Red Bull team.
You got anybody you want to give a quick shout out to?
Well, I was planning on doing this a few weeks ago, but luck didn't happen to put me in this position. But wanted to wish Cowboy a belated happy birthday and a shout out to his mom. Keep the tradition going.
That's right.
Lives on.
It
That's
does
awesome.
live on. That's good. All right, congratulations, Ricky, man. We'll see you next week at, I believe we're racing Charlotte for our season finale.
Yeah, and looking forward to winning that 9th place.
Yeah, you definitely got a good shot at it, man.
Yeah, good deal. Congrats on the win.
Thank you, guys.
All right, let's bring second place Butch Frazier down. I believe he's in here. There you go. Second place, man, on a fuel strategy. It looked like it paid off for you there, Butch. Tell us about the end of the race.
It was just I tried to run a fuel race the whole race. I know I'm not quite as fast as these other guys here, and I knew how many laps I could go. I actually crossed the finish line with 0.2 of a gallon, and was able to give Ricky a little shove. Go Hooligans! There's first and second. A lot of fun.
Yeah, so how was the car handling tonight? You said you weren't as fast as these guys, but you did have some good speed there throughout the race.
I could run close to the lap times. Calvin and some of them just blister the track. I could run up there, but I knew if I could drop back, I knew how much mileage. I know the last race I ran here was a caution's what kept me from being up front on the fuel mileage, so I knew exactly what to do there.
Well, good deal. All in all, I think it's still a great race. You had to be thinking about that fuel strategy going in. Were you going to come in at the end?
No, I was going to go for whatever.
You were committed.
For whatever I had. Yeah, I was committed, and I knew I would be within probably half to maybe going into 3, running out of gas. So I didn't know what kind of time the leaders had where they made their stops. So I knew it'd be close. It would put me further up front, but it was a good race.
Yeah, there was definitely some hard-fought battles, all through the race, and we had some incidents, but man, I think it was pretty entertaining overall. And hey, fuel mileage races are, we were saying earlier in the broadcast that second place is a second place. Doesn't matter how you get it. So congratulations, man.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Thank you guys for putting these on. It's been fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Anybody you want to give a quick shout out to?
Just you guys for putting the races on, the guys that we race with, the hooligan bunch. They're all the time giving us pointers and helping us out. That's what we appreciate. That's how we learn.
Great stuff, man. We'll see you next week.
Yes, sir. You guys have a good one.
You too.
All right, let's grab our third place finish, Andrew Packer, into the broadcast. Third place, man. It was a crazy finish. Finishing under caution. Don't always like to see that, but hey, it worked out for you today. What tell us about those last couple laps?
Yeah, I didn't want to see that caution. I was pretty far behind Butch. I know how Butch does. I've never done a fuel mileage race, and I was right on the edge, and Butch was a little faster than me. So I don't know if he could have made it. I could have. So I didn't want to see that caution, but it was a good race. It was fun.
That's interesting, the fact that you say you could have made it under green. I know that Ricky and Butch said they probably couldn't finish under green, and that would have pretty much set you up there. And we were talking about when the leaders came down that last time, and you guys kind of stayed out, and we're wondering if you guys had enough to go. It was a crazy race, and hey man, it was fun watching you guys coast over for that checkered flag.
I tell you, that's the hardest thing I've done. I like to race, and you know what? I know how Butch does it, and right since from that when that green flag dropped, I clutched it, I let off. I had 2 laps left when that green flag came out, when that yellow flag came out, so I know I would have made it. It was a fun race. I enjoyed it.
Any comment about the Canadians going 1 and 3 here?
Oh yeah, we got some good racers here in Canada, man. I don't know if the states give us enough credit. So hey, I'm proud of it. 1 and 3. Doesn't matter how we finished. Canadians are up top.
Yeah, I love seeing you guys represent. We don't see enough Canadians into this stock car stuff. So good on you guys, and hopefully we see some good results for you for our season finale next week at Charlotte. Anybody you want to give a shout out to before we end our broadcast tonight?
Oh, I'd just like to thank NAVSCAR and you guys for everything you do, and do a good job. I watched the videos, and it's fun rewatching them and listening to you guys, and that's it. Keep up the good work.
Awesome. Well,
and thanks to Team Hooligan.
We definitely enjoy being up in the booth every weekend or week, and I'm not going to speak for Jamie, but man, it's been a lot of fun with NAVSCAR, seeing it grow, and finishing up our second season here. I'm looking forward to see what comes next season.
Yeah, me too. I really hope I'm around for next season, and I look forward to running in those A cars.
Yeah, 10-4. We'll see you next week, man.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot. Have a good night.
Wow, another one's in the books. We got one race left, man. Pretty crazy stuff.
Yeah, I would agree, and I think after tonight we're probably going to see a little shakeup in the point standings. We've had the guys up front. I think the one thing that can be said is that it was close up front, but the pressure's going to be on at Bristol, and a track to finish it at. No one's safe at Bristol. No one. There's this.
You're getting your leagues mixed up. We're at Charlotte next week.
Oh, Charlotte. Sorry.
But same thing applies, man. It's still a crazy, Charlotte's a very high-speed track. You got that crazy dogleg start-finish, and it's going to be interesting there. And, NASCAR is really, it's got its roots in North Carolina and Charlotte, and that's where all the teams are. And I think that's a really important track for the series, and that's kind of why we wanted to finish the season on it. So looking forward to it.
I can tell you that turn 4 is loose.
Yeah. That bump out of turn 4, it's pretty crazy. Let's take the opportunity to present our next season schedule. I got it up on the broadcast now. This is our pro season schedule for late 2015. Some interesting tracks here, man. We're going to start. It's actually funny. We're going to start the season off with Charlotte. Then we're going to move to Pocono. Pocono is always a fun track, and I think it's really unique, and I like to see it in the schedule. Atlanta Motor Speedway, a new place for us. I don't think we've done a ton of races there. Then we're going to be going to Martinsville. A lot of fun short track racing. These guys can definitely get a little crazy on Martinsville. A little bit different to Bristol, so we wanted to kind of a little bit longer straights, make those corners a little bit crazier. Nice little curve on the inside, and I think that's going to make for a good race there too. Our fifth race, Texas Motor Speedway. That is our first officially sponsored race of the season. Voice Attack is come on board, and we're going to do 199 miles around Texas Motor Speedway there. Winner of that race will get a Voice Attack key, and winner of the season will also get a Voice Attack key. And we'll talk a little bit more about Voice Attack that week, but if you don't know about it, just check them out. Great program for anybody doing the iRacing that has a headset. Then we're going on to Phoenix. Phoenix is a little bit crazy with that dog leg. Should be fun racing there as well. Sonoma, we're going back to our road course. We haven't been to Sonoma. Sonoma could be a little bit crazy. What do you think about that?
Yeah, Sonoma is really interesting. It's not to me. It's not like Watkins Glen, honestly. It's very narrow. There isn't a whole lot of room for passing, and I think we're going to see some interesting racing there.
Yeah, it's definitely, I think, a technical track. A lot of blind corners, over the hill corners, and yeah, I think it's going to be for an interesting race. These guys are going to need to get a ton of practice there for that one. And I think the Glen was super popular this season, and I think it's the Sonoma is going to be a lot of fun as well. Last race before the Chase, we're going to Rockingham, man. I think Rockingham is a staple. Uh, it's always been a pretty much staple. We don't see it as much anymore on the NASCAR circuit, but you ever been to Rockingham?
Yes, just there a couple weeks ago, and so interesting track. Can't say it's one of my favorites, but it's definitely a. I feel like you're driving the track more than you are against the other racers out there. But all in all, it's going to bring some competitive racing for sure.
Then we're going to go to Chicagoland. I think that's going to be a new track for us. Just like a small little, I think it's a 1 mile track, isn't it? I think it's
No, I think it's a mile and a half.
a mile and a half, but your traditional cookie cutter style of track looks like it should be a lot of fun. Daytona, obviously, we got to have a super speedway in there. Just one super speedway this series. Um, it's always some good racing there, but it's a little bit random when it comes to results. So I'm looking to see these guys kind of get a little bit of more actual racing and learning these tracks, and in those A cars, there's going to be a lot of opportunity for guys to really show their stuff. Race number 11, we're going to go to Auto Club. Back to Auto Club. Love that place. Again, Michigan clone. We didn't do Michigan again this series, but Auto Club is almost the same thing. A little bit bumpier, but should be good. And then we're going to finish up the season with Homestead, just like the actual season. So I'm excited, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I think next season we are taking that about what month off you had said.
Yeah, we don't start the next series until September 30th, so this one ends next week, and then we got just over a month, maybe 5 or 6 weeks. We will run a preseason Thunder series, so we will have an open series that we will invite anybody to come and race with us, just to have some fun, kind of a little bit more laid back. But we use that to give people the opportunity to give us a shot, try it out, but not actually commit to the series right away.
Yeah, absolutely. And we definitely have some drivers in queue. We weren't taking applications there for the last couple of races just due to the chase. And so we'll have an opportunity to see some of these new drivers get out here and join the regulars.
Yeah, it's definitely a feeling out period. I know they'll probably be a little bit chaotic, a little bit crazy, but that's to be expected in an open series. I'll probably put a license requirement in there. We might not just let everybody in, but we will let people that are new to the races around, and it should be fun either way. We won't broadcast those series, so keep that in mind. If you are watching our broadcast tonight, you're going to come back next week. Next week will be our last broadcast until September 30th. But we have a lot of stuff in the books that we're going to kind of refresh the broadcast. We're going to hopefully, we got a couple cool, exciting segments for you guys that we hope to have for that series. Well, with that, Jamie, I think that's going to wrap up our broadcast. Hey, man, I'm looking forward to getting back in the booth with you next week.
Yeah, absolutely excited for the season finale. Can't wait to do it.
Awesome. Anybody who wants to check out the point standings after tonight's race, we'll have the results up on NAVSCAR.com in the next 10-15 minutes, so check it out. For those that stuck around to the end, we'll see you next week. Thanks again for coming out.